Hi everybody, it's Matt here. I've just finished doing the tasting video and I realized that I have done the whole video with my head cut off the top. So this is just me showing you my face for the month. I hope you enjoy the tasting video. Please excuse the fact that I've been decapitated for this one, and next month I'll make sure that Sean's here and he can make sure that you can see my face. All right, enjoy the tasting. Hi, welcome to Explore Monthly's February tasting. By now you should have all received your boxes in the post. If you haven't opened them already, then now could be a good chance to open them. We're going to taste some chocolates together. So this month's theme is the first blush. To us, February shouldn't always be about the excess and indulgence and oversweetness that we associate with Valentine's Day. So this month I really wanted to go for a softer approach, looking at how we can use fruit and acidity, dairy, cacao in a slightly different way, not focusing too much on the rich, bold sweetness that comes with Valentine's Day. So as always, there's no right or wrong way to taste these chocolates. Taste them in any order. I'm going to taste them in the order that they are on the sheet that we've included for you. So we're going to start today with our New Mexico milk chocolate. So this is a 45%. Yeah, 45% milk chocolate that's using some new cocoa beans that we've had in towards the end of last year. We got two different sacks in from Mexico. One was the Sierra Madre that was in January's box. This month is Agua Escondida. So Agua Escondida is named after the concealed water source that feeds the farm. So it means hidden water or hidden spring. To me, this is an amazing cacao. I get some really nutty flavors from it, some dried fruit flavors. It's going to make a really versatile milk chocolate for us, I think, in the coming months. We are actually kicking things off with this as an Easter egg. So this isn't available to buy as a bar at the minute, but it is available as an Easter egg. So have a little taste of this, see what you think. 45% cocoa solids. It's not overly sweet, but it's not right up in that dark milk territory either. It's kind of in between the two. So snap the chocolate, let it melt, breathe in and out gently through your nose. Really slow things down. It's nutty, it's malty, there's a little fruity acidity, jammy, raisins. Yeah. To me, it's not one that I need loads of because it just gives so much flavor. But that's good, right? We don't need as much of it. Okay, so the next chocolate is the Sumba Island again. So it's the same cocoa beans that we gave you last week for the milk chocolate. There was a 55% milk chocolate without sugar in it. This one is a 65% dark chocolate. So we've upped the percentage 10%, but we've lost that milk powder. Okay, so this one you should expect more of the bright fruitiness to come through. Okay, so the tasting notes on this one for me was grapefruit, apricot, toasted bread. I still get those flavors, but it's completely different without the almost comfort of having the dairy there. So have a taste of this and see what you think. And this one again is available as an Easter egg. We've got 4 eggs this year. The caramelized white cocoa nibs. We've got the Agua Escondida milk chocolate. We've got the Sumba 65% dark, and then our Belize Mayan Mountain 80% is the darkest of the eggs here as well. Okay, so the next chocolate here is one of our experimental chocolates. This one is not available for purchase yet, but we are going to release a small batch next week. So you guys will get the first look at those basically. We'll fire out an email to let you know when they're available. This is something that I'm really, really excited about. If you had the January box, then you have seen the tropical ferment. So this is using the same kind of technique. So we've done a secondary fermentation on the cocoa beans. This is our Guatemala La Chua, which has notes of strawberry, lemon zest, mocha, and peanut. And I've lacto fermented those cocoa beans a second time with wild strawberries. So the strawberries that I picked over at the Hermitage last year, I did the ferment and I froze it especially for the beginning of this year. So we've taken that, we kickstarted the fermentation again with the cocoa beans, and then we turned this into a milk chocolate. Okay, so this is all about the acidity and looking at how the acidity is very gentle here. It's not for tanginess, it's not for an edge, it's there just to move things along. It gives a little bit more movement to the cacao and the progression of flavors. The milk then just mutes it ever so slightly. And to me, there's just so much character to this milk chocolate. So I'm really excited to release a small batch and then see what feedback is. I'd love to hear your feedback from it as well. So I'm going to start making those bars on Wednesday. I'm hoping to get them on sale for Friday, because the chocolate's already been made. But like I say, we'll send an email out to let you know when they're available. Just really let this one melt. You get those waves of flavor coming through. It's not overly sweet, it's not bitter, it's creamy, but there's so much more character to it as well because of that strawberry, I think. Okay, so that's the bars done. Some of you said that your chocolates were jumbled up a little bit in transit last month. I hope that's not been the case this month, but I am leaving a close-up of each of the chocolates for you. So hopefully that will help you identify them if they have been jumbled up a little bit. If they have, I apologize. Please let me know because we are still developing the packaging. We're working on it and trying to make it better each month. Okay, so the first bonbon that we're going to do, this was in our Valentine's box. It's also in our Mother's Day box. This is the raspberry and vanilla. Okay, so we have another raspberry chocolate in our core range, which we'll taste next. This uses the same raspberry filling. It's a raspberry pâte de fouille, which is a pectin set gel, similar to a jam, but it's fresher and you get more of that raspberry flavor. It doesn't taste as cooked. So we strain that, blend it into a fluid gel, pipe that into a white chocolate shell for this one, and sit that on top of a white chocolate and vanilla ganache. Now, any of you guys that are regular customers will know that I don't normally do white chocolate. I decided to make an exception for this one, mostly because I thought it was something that my mum would like. So that was my thinking there. But it's also similar to one of the first chocolates I ever made, starting this business up, which was a raspberry panna cotta. Very similar idea. The vanilla that we've used in this is a really special vanilla that we get from Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania. Again, not trying to be cliche with it. We wanted to have some real character from that vanilla rather than just being a sort of a box standard vanilla. Okay, so you can pop this one in one go. You can bite it. It's not going to spill out all over your chin. So here we're looking for the tartness from the raspberry to mix in with the sweetness that comes in all of the components in this. And then the cream, the vanilla adds some accents of flavor to it as well. But overall, it's the tartness of the vanilla that kind of cleanses your palate as it breaks down. I've got to be honest, it's a bit too sweet for me. It's not my personal taste. But I know some people do enjoy a slightly sweeter chocolate. I think that's the sweetest of all of the chocolates that we've done for you this month. They're still pretty good. Okay, and the next one is the other raspberry chocolate. This is in our core range. So this is our raspberry rose and hibiscus. So this one, you've got the Guatemala La Chua, it's a 70% dark chocolate shell. The raspberry pâte de fouille, And then we make a ganache there using dried hibiscus flowers and rose water. So we'll make a hibiscus tea, strain that off, add a few drops of rose water to it, give that a taste, and blend that into some dark chocolate to make the ganache. Okay, so this one we're looking more for those floral accents coming from the hibiscus and the rose. There's much less sweetness because there's far less sugar in than the last one, but the same raspberry filling. So hopefully you'll just see a completely different experience using that same filling. Definitely kind of like a Turkish delight sort of vibe from the rose water. The hibiscus gives it a kind of citrusy berry kind of notes as well. And then the raspberry, rather than using the tartness to cleanse your palate, almost acts as a buffer against any bitterness that might be coming from the dark chocolate. If that makes sense, it's a little bit more acidity there. Yeah, to me it's a really good chocolate. It's quite intense. There's a nice long aftertaste on it. It's one you might want to take a pause before we go on to the next one. Maybe have a little drink, cleanse your palate. Okay, so the next chocolate that we're going to go on to is, I've called this peanut butter fudge. Now I've got to level with you, it's not technically a fudge. It's just, to me, the filling was a bit fudgy in consistency. Fudge is one of those funny things that if you're making it at home, it's fine, but if you're trying to pipe it into a bonbon, it lives right in that danger zone between crystallization and water activity. I'm not going to bore you with the technicalities of it, but it does mean that it's not the most shelf stable of fillings. So we didn't go for a fudge as such. I wanted to have something that was really low in water, so it would give us quite a long shelf life on it, but it would still have quite a fudgy kind of texture. Okay, so it's using peanut butter, and then we've got a caramelized white chocolate or blonde chocolate shell. Excuse me. So yeah, give this a go, see what you think. It's meant to be very different from a Reese's, you know? Even though it's a caramelized white chocolate shell, it's a 38% cocoa butter chocolate, so there's less sugar in it than a normal caramelized white chocolate. And then there's not too much sugar in the filling either. So again, we wanted to go for a kind of bold richness to this, but at the same time, quite gentle. You know, after it breaks down, it does kind of just fade a little bit and it lingers. This is definitely a chocolate for me. I really enjoy peanut butter chocolate. I must say that I do default to Reese's sometimes because there aren't very many peanut chocolates on the market, and I've been saying for months that I needed to make one. And there it is. Okay, so the next one we're going to go on to, I should have said the peanut is also in the Mother's Day box, and the next one will be in that box as well. So this is Pinot Noir. Okay, so this is a dark chocolate with a Pinot Noir ganache. I don't really need to say too much more than that you've got those wine tannic sort of vibes mixing in with the acidity from the chocolate. Again, it's this quite a grown-up chocolate, this one, I think. It's subtle. It's not meant to be really in your face like this is red wine. It's just meant to give an accent to the chocolate and change the experience for you a bit. It's so tangy. Once it breaks down, you get so much acidity on the side of your tongue. It's funny because it actually makes the chocolate feel more creamy. It's not a particularly creamy chocolate, this one, and it's why I thought it would work really well with the acidity and the tannic nature of the wine. yeah, it's not going to be for everyone, that one, but again, for me, I really enjoy that. Okay, so the next chocolate. This is part of our core range. You can't get much more classic than a salted caramel. Okay, so I felt like I had to include that one. If nothing else, for balance in this box, because we've given you some fruit, we've given you some acidity, we've given you the nuttiness from the peanut, so a little bit of comfort with the salted caramel. This is just meant to provide some physical softness for you. Yeah, I think it balances out this selection quite nicely. Yeah, it's a salted caramel. You know, I'm a big believer in good things, simple things done well. And that's what we tried to do with this one. I think it's more of a challenge than doing something flashy and different, because nobody's got any sort of benchmark to compare it to. But when you do something like a salted caramel or a simple dark chocolate ganache, there's not really anywhere to hide. So we just use really good cream, really good butter, really good blackthorn sea salt. We're using butter from Edinburgh now. It's made in Scotland. Yeah, simple ingredients, but they're really high quality. And again, the final boiling point for the caramel always determines the texture of it, how firm or soft it's going to be. So for me, sitting around that 112, 113 degree mark really gives us that just a little bite, and then it softens and melts down. So hopefully you enjoyed that one. And the last one we're going to do is our House Dark. Okay, so this is a simple dark chocolate ganache. Excuse me. So it's a dark chocolate ganache, but it's made with water and sunflower oil instead of cream. Okay, so it's a water ganache. Water ganaches for me are my go-to sort of approach, because I think that when you use cream in a ganache, it can kill some of the really interesting flavors from the chocolate. If you're using mass-produced chocolate and there's no really interesting acidity or nuanced flavors to it, then there's not too much to preserve in the first place. You may as well cream it up, and that's maybe going to mute some of the bitterness of the chocolate. But when you're using high-quality cocoa beans, you're handling them gently and carefully. You've got all of those interesting flavors. My approach is always to try and preserve them, so we try and stay away from cream wherever we can. So yeah, getting the balance of water and sunflower oil to almost mimic the fat balance of cream gives us that silky smooth texture of a ganache that we all come to expect, but you get more of the interesting flavor coming through. So have a taste of this one, see what you think. So that's it. That's this month's tasting done. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for being an Explore Chocolate customer. As always, any feedback is welcome. This is quite a new concept with this version of our Explore Monthly subscription. So we're still learning. Any feedback you've got, we would love to hear from you. See you next month.